Not here to listen to me, that's for sure. We want to hear about Jackson Hastings. He's about to tell us that he signed a 10-year contract. Guys, I didn't say who for, right? All right, without further ado, I'll hand over to Gary and Jackson. Let's give them a round of applause. Well done.
I just want to echo Steve's statement. Thanks for coming along today. I know it's a busy time of year. I know game day is especially busy, so thanks for coming along. I think the first question is the obvious one. We can all see your leg at the moment, so how's the injury going and how's that recovery going?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I just want to say thank you to you guys for obviously your support this year. Once again, it hasn't been the year that we would have liked as a club, but to see you guys turn up every week, to break that membership record this year and things like that, on behalf of the playing group especially, I want to say thank you, because I know how hard it has been for a decade, and for you guys to still come out in your numbers and support the boys. I know it's annoying and I know it's hard. It's hard on the playing group as well, but I just want to say on behalf of myself and the rest of the boys, we really do appreciate it, and I know they're going to put in a big performance today to get off the bottom of that too. So first of all, I just want to start by saying thank you to you guys. The leg's come along pretty good actually. I'm ahead of schedule. I was meant to be in a plaster for 3 weeks, then getting my stitches out, but I begged the doctor to put me in a moon boot straight away so I could ice it and stuff like that. So I've been in and out of the boot, icing it, doing my exercise and stuff like that. So I'm probably about a week or two ahead of schedule. So far so good. Hopefully can get back for the World Cup for England and play in that and have a decent pre-season and play some good footy next year.
So after the game, you were walking around signing merchandise and talking to fans. At the time, did you realise it was broken?
I got a funny story. So like 5 minutes before we went out to warm up, I was talking to Ronnie Palmer, who was the trainer of the Roosters when my dad played. And I was just mucking around saying, who's tougher, me or my dad? And he told me my dad. So when I hurt my ankle, in the back of my mind, I remember having that conversation with Ronnie, so I had to get up. And then when I got up and the physio was telling me he needs to carry me, I said, I can't swear, this kid's nicked. I told him to get nicked, and I walked off, and then the doctor wanted to look at it, but because we were winning, I wanted to be out there and enjoy the victory, especially after the Cowboys debacle. And I don't know what it was, the adrenaline or stuff like that, but after when I went to hospital, I was walking around barefoot, like to the x-ray, and I thought in my head, there's no way there's anything like wrong with this. Like I've just carried on and rolled around like an idiot for 5 minutes and got up, and I was ready to cop the backlash of carrying on. And then as soon as he scanned it once, it was cracked. So I don't know. I got raised from a young age. If you didn't have to go to hospital and you're injured, you got to walk home after the game. So my mum was scaring the crap out of me in the back of my head. So I made sure I was walking around.
It was injured in a leg tackle, hip drop tackle. What do you think about those sort of tackles and in the game, and what do you think you meant to do?
Yeah, obviously you saw one the other night. Tom Weisenhuth broke his leg as well, I think, or syndesmosis. There was another one the week before. Harry Grant was lucky to escape with a broken leg. Mitchell Moses had one done to him the other night, which is so. Now that it's happened to me, I'll probably look at it a bit more and I cringe when it happens to other players, because I don't want anyone to end up like this. But for about a week, I was really dirty on Paddy Carrigan, and like in the back of my mind, I was just so angry that it happened to me. And then once I had the surgery, I cooled off a little bit, and I realised like it was obviously an accident. And I took the emotion out of everything that happened, and I could see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel in terms of obviously getting my stitches out, and like I was ticking little goals. I just sat back and realised that I've been pretty lucky. Like I've played about 160 professional games over the 2 countries, and I've never been injured before. So to be injured in a freak tackle was just unlucky. And I mentioned in the podcast the other week, a fella out here playing today, Tautau Moga's done 4 ACLs and come back from that. Adams obviously had 2 ACLs. I've played with players that have had 5 or 6 shoulder reconstructions. So I just looked at it from a different lens and realised I've been pretty lucky, and understood it was an accident, used to move on with it and deal with it for what it is.
Some guys really struggle when they're on the sideline and they're out injured and sitting on the sideline watching their teammates run around. How do you deal with it?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to put my head through the TV last week. Just not being there and like being a part of it and feeling the emotion. I was 4 days out of surgery and I went to the Newcastle game, and I just wanted to kick and scream with this on, and it's so frustrating because no, not one player was going to make up 70 points last week, but you don't understand how demoralising and how embarrassing that is unless you're actually out there and a part of it. So I would have rather actually be out there and got beat with them and feel their pain rather than like walk around, ticking boxes in my rehab and feeling decent about myself too. So yeah, I'm a terrible watcher. I've got to be in the sheds. I've got to be talking to people and feel like I'm a part of it. Otherwise, as I said, I want to put weight for the TV.
Yeah, I think it comes out in the way you play that you wouldn't be someone who enjoys being on the sideline. You're so intense out on the field, and I can't imagine what it's like to watch your teammates in that situation.
I'm a bit too intense sometimes. I think if you ask a few of the boys, their ears bleed a few times I'm out there, but just care so much about what I do and want to win. So I'm just trying to, along with other people like Adam and people like that care a lot about the place and care about the result. Mainly, we're just trying to change that. I wouldn't say culture because everyone wants to win, but just have that attitude that you have to win and not be happy with being mediocre or just getting close. We need to win and we need to make finals and we need to be like the club's so strong off the field. We need to start transferring that on the field too. So the more blokes we get here that actually really care about the result and what we're doing, the better off the club's going to be.
So you said 3 years at the Roosters, a couple of years at Manly. They're both considered glamour clubs of the NRL. And you're now at the West Tigers, who has a little bit of a reputation of being one of the lower, poorly doing teams. Can you see any difference between the Roosters and the Manlys of the competition and the West Tigers?
Oh, well, the Roosters are a different kettle of fish to everyone else. I think they're obviously very financially gifted with ownership and their board's really strong. They've got the owner of Channel 9's on their board. They've obviously got Nick, Luke Ricketson. They're very powerful, and they do say winning starts at the top. And they've obviously been very settled and successful at the top for a long period of time, and it's trickled down. And they've had the same squad for a number of years. They've had the same coach. There's been consistency throughout. Manly was a little bit different. I wouldn't really consider Manly as a glamour club. The facilities we had at the Centre of Excellence before it was the Centre of Excellence. The facilities at Manly were worse than that. The boys the year before I got there, they were showering with a hose. So I wouldn't really consider that to be too much of a glamour club, and I wouldn't give Manly any raps anyway. So. But the Tigers, we're certainly heading in the right direction. I know there's been, we just need to stick solid with the plan they've got in place now. Obviously, they've got that 5-year plan with Benji and Tim and Robbie. And as I said, commercially, I feel we're doing really well and things like that. But it means nothing if you don't do well on the field too. So it's not up to anyone away from the playing group to sort it out. We just got to get together as a group and really knuckle down and be serious about what we want to achieve, and then stop talking about it and writing all these fancy words on a whiteboard. When we step out there, just go and do it. It's as simple as that. Go and win and take pride in what you do.
Now, you also said that your father was a bit of a Roosters legend and you had that show. What was it like coming through junior grades playing as the son of Kevin Hastings?
It made it difficult. I haven't got a really good relationship with Dad. I don't really talk to him at all. And I just grew up with my mum. Single mum, 3 kids, lived in housing commission. My dad lived in America, and I didn't speak to him for a good 10 plus years. So I never really had that solid father figure in my life. So when I was getting into trouble at school and doing things that I shouldn't have, I never had really that male role model to clip me over the ears and pull me back into the line. I had my mum that had to be mum and dad, which is pretty hard when you've got 2 young daughters and then a teenage son. So I was getting myself into a bit of trouble and hanging out with the wrong people, and I didn't have anyone to tell me no, really. Obviously, I love my mum more than anything and respect her, but when you're a teenager or anyone in here that has teenage boys, when they get to a certain age, they can be pretty stubborn. I'm 26 and still stubborn, so I'm hoping I know right from wrong now, but yeah, growing up with Dad being a legend there and playing halfback and things like that, I didn't really feel the pressure until I got to first grade, and then when we weren't going too good and you walk into the Roosters office and there's a big picture of the old man and how successful he was. It does get a bit daunting, but it's just something I've learned to deal with. I'm actually glad that I'm out of that now and don't have to worry about it. I've been able to forge a bit of my own path at the moment, and can hopefully go on and do one better than him and actually win a grand final. So he's 0-1 in the NRL and I'm on to in Super League. So hopefully can come back here and win a few here.
When your first year in the NRL, it ended in quite a bit of controversy and
You reckon?
a little, mate, anyone who has a run-in with Dale Cherry Evans is a good guy. So I can say that, you may not, but it ended in a bit of controversy. You went over to England. You seem to have matured a lot over in England, and was that experience crucial to you coming back?
Yeah, obviously, I won't go into too much of the Manly thing. I think it's been pretty well documented what happened. It's written down on the internet if you want to go read about it. Just type in Jackson Hastings Manly, you'll find out pretty quick what happened. But yeah, going over there, obviously not having any support, not knowing anyone. I just turned 22 years old. All I wanted to do as a kid was play NRL, and I had that pull from out under me from my own doing really. And I sat on a plane for 22 hours on my own and had a lot of time to sort of reflect and wonder what was next and not just wonder, put a plan in place to get back here and hopefully right the wrongs of what I did. And it didn't happen straight away, and I'm still not like this complete person that I want to be. I've still got plenty of stuff that I need to work on. I still do things that I have to like look in the mirror and go, you can't be doing this and whatever. But the 3.5 years I had away was more growth away from footy than it was on the field. I think I always knew that I was talented and I could play at a high level. It was just getting a bit of off-field stuff right and my interactions with individuals right and things like that too. So not having mum to run back to make my dinner or wash my clothes and things like that, I had to learn how to be like an adult, you know. And as a 22-year-old kid over the other side of the world, I learned pretty quickly. And at the start, it was pretty scary, and I wanted to come home, and I missed my dogs and everything like that. But it was all part of growing up and becoming who I am now.
Now, your time over there was quite successful. You played in a couple of Super League grand finals. You won the Man of Steel. Did that give you the confidence coming back that you could come back and start at the NRL?
Yeah, not straight away. I was still trying to find myself, as I said. Like I was a bit lost with who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do with my life away from footy and how I wanted people to see me and judge me and things like that, which is still a work in progress. Obviously, it doesn't just happen overnight, but with the footy side of thing, I always knew that I could play. Like I always knew that I had the ability to be whatever I wanted. It was just that I never kept giving myself a chance. I'd always put one foot in front of the other, then I'd hit a hurdle because of my own behaviour, really. So it was more about just growing up and not getting too far ahead of myself and just taking small steps to be who I wanted to be. And then once I found myself away from footy and understood who I wanted to be and wanted to be a bit of a role model and inspiration for like troubled kids and things like that, the footy just become easy and natural to me. And coming back's been great. And the game, it feels like I haven't been away really. Like I know not every game's perfect, and I've had my moments in games that I would like to take back and being a part of games that, you know, I wish the result would be completely different, but I felt like the game's completely slowed down for me, and I see it completely different to what I did when I was 18, 19, 20 playing in the NRL before.
Now, talking about the game in the Super League a little bit, is there a lot of difference between the style of football that's played over in England compared to here? Yeah,
it's a lot more open, I guess, in terms of you got the license to throw the ball around, and the scorelines are pretty blown out at times, but I think the talent pool here is just so much more. Like there's obviously so many more people that live in Australia than England, but there's so much more talent coming through every club compared to over there. You get the 5 or 6 really strong teams, and even sometimes out of the 5 and 6, you only get 1 and 2 that dominate. Like the year before last, the last season I was there, it was just Wigan and St Helens so much further ahead of everyone else. It wasn't funny. So you got a massive discrepancy in talent, so that makes it hard to sort of judge the two competitions against each other.
You spent 4 years in England, you're now back in Australia. Is there anything you miss from your time over there?
I miss a Sunday roast. If anyone's from England, been to England over there, they call it a Sunday dinner. It's my favourite food. If I was going to die tomorrow, I want to have that. I've got a lot of friends that I made over there, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people, when I went over there, really cared for me and looked after me and took me in. So I miss a lot of people over there that really bent over backwards to make my time over there as enjoyable As it was, I had a massive supporter base with the two clubs I played for. They were fantastic for me. A lot of people here have been. It's been great. I gave a lot back to the community over there, and they gave me so much love too. So it's a beautiful place. If anyone is looking for a holiday, I know it seems pretty cold. Go over in summer. It's actually alright in summer, but I'll definitely go back at the back end of my career and life, and hopefully play a few more years over there and win a comp, and fall into some coaching.
So you return to the NRL, return to the West Tigers, come to the West Tigers. Why the West Tigers? Why not somewhere else? What was the key issues behind that decision?
There's a couple of reasons. I don't want to harp on the first point too much, but Madge was the main reason I come. Just how passionate, and I know everyone in here will probably have a different opinion on Madge as a coach, but he cared so much about this place, and he still messages me and a few of the boys after a loss, and he hurts because essentially we are his players. He signed a lot of the boys here to play for him, and he has a deep love for every individual that he coached, and he still cares about the place and wants it to do well too. So that was hard to see him go, obviously, but that's life and that's footy. People get moved on. So he was the main reason. And then I could have gone to a few places, but I didn't just want to be another player. I wanted to not be the star or anything like that, but I wanted to have an integral role in what the club was doing, and hopefully that's moving forward too. That's sort of been taken out of my hands with new people coming in and stuff like that. So I wanted to come to a place where I thought that I could have an impact and be a key figure in the team and the club, and hopefully be a part of turning the fortunes around.
So it's quite obvious on the field that you're a dominant voice out there. You're one of the main leaders on your field. Is that a role that means a lot to you? Do you want to be that leader in AFL or in AFL?
Yeah, it's always come kind of natural to me. I don't shut up away from the field anyway, so talking on the field is pretty easy, but I just care. I really care about what I do. I'm really grateful to be in this position that I'm in, and I just want to win. I don't care who we play. I don't care if we play them on this concrete bit of slab out here. I don't care who they are. I just want to win, and I try and get that message across to some of the younger boys. Obviously, we've got a really young squad, and when you come up against some teams with superstar players that have done it for a number of years, I remember when I was younger, you can get a bit nervous, and weird things you can go one or two ways. You could either want to belt them in a tackle, or you just want to tackle them because they're so good. You don't want to hurt them or annoy them. And we're slowly turning that into all right, we're playing this superstar today. Let's go after him and give him a rough day. But yeah, I just care about what I do, and I love playing footy, and the 3 games that I got to be captain were probably the highlight of my career too. So if that's something that's available going forward, I'll definitely throw my hat in the ring for that, and we'll see where it takes us.
So the club does have a little bit of a reputation for having a little bit of a soft underbelly. Is that something you're keen to help change?
Yeah, you just can't give anyone an inch in the NRL, you know what I mean? If you go into a game soft and you defend soft, they're just going to walk all over you. There's too many good players and too many teams that look at clubs like ours, and I mean that from a ladder point of view. If you look at the bottom sort of 4 or 5 teams this year, whenever we've gone up against a team that should beat us, we've actually stuck it to them, and we've given them a hard game. Obviously, we'll scrap that game last weekend. That doesn't count. That didn't happen. But mostly this year, when we played a top 4 side, we've really stuck it to them. And then when we've played a team where we probably should have won, that's when that mentality has to stay the same. You have to turn up, and you have to be physical, and you have to want to win that bad. And we haven't done that this year, and teams that we probably should have beaten have sort of got over the top of us, which is disappointing. So we have to change that, and we have to go into every week the same.
Well, I think most people here will agree that that's kind of a training style as well. Particularly when we have strong sides, we quite often have nothing but the side and strong. But I can see on the field your commitment to change that, and I think that's can only be a positive for our club. Are you aware of the kind of esteem that you're held amongst the Tigers fan base? You really are very valuable amongst the club. Does that come through to you?
Oh yeah, it does. That's why I wanted to thank everyone at the start. I felt so welcome since I come here. I know a lot of people were a bit hesitant when I signed, and were a bit worried about the reputation and whatever. you know, and understandably so. I guess when I left, I did have a bit of a bad reputation, and it's something that I really wanted to change. And I take a lot of pride in making sure I try to sign, take photos, and walk around the field. And sometimes it's really hard. Yeah, sometimes it is hard when you get beat by a big scoreline to. It's almost to build up the courage to face people that have paid their hard-earned money to come watch their team play, and you play like crap, and you got to go over there and you got to face the music. Sometimes some fans can be pretty hard, but at the same time, people care and they deserve an opinion. So I take pride in making sure I try and sign, take photos, walk around, and then on the field, all you can do is give your best. And I try and do that every single week, and I get a lot of love back on social media and stuff like that, which I'm really grateful for, and hopefully it can continue for a long time.
So you mentioned earlier about looking to be ready for the World Cup and representing the World Cup. What does that opportunity mean to you?
Yeah, it means heaps. Obviously, I qualified for England. I've played for Great Britain before, but the 4 years I had over there made me fall in love with the place, and I kind of actually feel English. You know what I mean? It's weird how much that place did for me. It's kind of hard to put into words. Like, I was a broken young kid. I went over there like a man that can hold his head high. So the whole 360 or 180, whatever you want to say, in my life changed in England, and I feel like I owe it to that place to represent them and represent them well, like I try and do for the Tigers every week.
Where do you see yourself fitting into that squad? What sort of role do you think you might play?
Anyway, I don't care. I don't care. Like, put me on the wing if you want. I'll do my best. I'm slow as a wet league, but I'll have a crack. I honestly don't care. Like, people ask me, "Oh, are you annoyed that you have to play lock or whatever?" I just whatever, man. Put number 60 on my back. I'll just go out there and have a go. You know what I mean? So
that is one of my questions coming up. So we can move to that. That change at the club from playing 7 to playing 13. What difference does that make to your game, and are you happy with that change?
Well, I have to make about 35 more tackles a week, which is hard. So that's the main change. But with the football, my job pretty much stays the same anyway. You know what I mean? I essentially play halfback with the ball with 2 5/8s and a fullback. So I enjoyed the freedom to be able to actually take the pressure off Adam and Brooksy and allow them to just play and drop when he played. Allow them to play with no pressure. I don't mind that pressure being put back on myself and kind of enjoy, get a bit of a kick out of it. And apart from the defence, nothing really changes for me. I have to take a few hit-ups every now and then and get broken in half, literally. And Sheensy come to me and put it to me, and he didn't really say, "Do you want to play?" He sort of told me I was playing lock, and I went, "No worries, Tim, as long as I keep getting paid, mate, that's the main thing." And wherever the team needs me, I'll play. I'm not one of these guys that will kick up a stink if I don't get my own way. It's just whatever, we'll go there and compete and have a crack. And I'd rather play halfback if I was honest, but at the same time, I'll do whatever's best for the club and the team.
Yeah. Watching the game, it's almost like being playing 2 positions when you're playing lock. You're playing that lock role, but also playing halfback. And as you said, it is all big workload. It does put you at great risk of injury. But how do you think that 3 halves kind of expand was working before you do it?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at the top teams at the moment, if you look at, not the top 4 as such, but if you look at South with Keir Murray, the Roosters with Victor Radley, and then Penrith with Isaiah, it obviously works. It's an easy way to get past the 3 middle defenders and get your halves a little bit wider and playing a bit freer. I know when I was playing halfback and I was playing on the ball, wherever I went, the defence would come. But now, with me and Adam are on one side, for example, you've still got Dane and Brooksy or Jock and Brooksy on the other side. So as a defensive team, it's hard to number up where they're going to go. But I'll obviously get a whole pre-season at doing it and get used to the contact and get used to getting up and down off the ground and making tackles. So I'm actually looking forward to learning something new. I know I can play halfback and I can play 5'8", so learning a new position at my age is pretty cool and gives me a bit more motivation to get out of bed and learn something different.
So, as I said, last weekend was fairly disappointing. The season on the whole has been a tough one for fans, it's been a tough one for the club, it's been a tough one for the players. What is the squad using to keep motivated this way into the season? That really hasn't been a plan.
Well, we've got to get off the bottom of the ladder. Like, we have to. I don't care what they do today. Just do something. Nah. a serious note, just like they have to have the attitude that we have to win at all costs. I know that should be every week, but we can't get the spoon. This club can't get the spoon. I personally don't feel like we deserve it. There's been so many games this year. Like if you look at the Titans game, doesn't matter who dropped it. We dropped it. We lost that game. Last time we played this bunch at Wollongong, we bombed 4 or 5 tries. Should have won that. We beat the Cowboys. We should have been good from round one. We fell on a banana skin there. Like there's 4 games in there where we should be. Like I sit at home and get so angry because we should actually be pushing for the 8. And I know it's easy to say when you're right down the bottom, but we've just given so many games away. Like we're 18-0 against South the second time. Like you look back and you shake your head, but I think it goes to show that we're actually not that far away. I don't care what people write on forums or what other fans think of us. Like we're that far away from being where we want to be, but the motivation has to be avoid the spoon because I'll be snapping in half if we get it.
I think it's quite obvious that there are a few squads that have fallen us this year around the NRL. We've just let ourselves down in key moments and sort of.
I mean, like, sorry to cut you off. Like, we've got 16 out as well, but like, if that's Melbourne, it's a big deal. But if it's the Tigers, it's well, get on with it. We've got like the amount of injuries and suspensions and things we've had this year. Like, I haven't seen anything. I've never been a part of anything like it. Like, it's been hard to watch some kids get a debut and you get trounced in some games and you see how demoralising that can be. But there's a young fella today, Kidione, that's if no one's watched him play, he's going to be pretty special if the club can hold on to him. I hope he just plays a short amount of time at the moment just because he's explosive and needs to get his lungs and he's coming back from a few injuries. But yeah, he's one to certainly look out for and someone we can help build around.
Big and skillful, so
yeah, he's a very talented kid. He's a bit like Kikau in the sense that he's got that ability to break a tackle, flick pass, grubber. He's got all the skill sets. Probably not as big as Billy Army, but definitely skillful.
So, how do we look inside this year? It's been a difficult year for us, but who do you think's been our best?
No, I'm not saying that because we haven't played well. Like different games, you could say this person's played excellent, or it depends how you look at who's played the best. Like for as much stick as he cops, I thought Brooksy for about 5 weeks was our best player. The way he played and the way he got us around. Like I got a lot of the raps, but he made my job really, really easy. I know a lot of people are a fan of Joffa and what he does. Obviously, he was playing 13 and probably trying to pass a little bit too big. Got guilty of trying to play that link role, but the games where he's played prop, he's probably played his best, I think. I think Kamamalo on stages has been excellent for us. Adams played some good games, Shots played some good games. It's been hard to single someone out because we've had so many inconsistencies. Fanua Pole's been great since he's come in. Fomina Brown's done some great things. Like we've had glimpses of brilliance like from individuals all over the park, but it's hard to single someone out because we've been in and out, up and down like a yo-yo. So Dane Laurie, I forgot Dano. Like Dano's had his moments. I know he didn't start the year as well as he would have liked from a personal standpoint, but I feel like the last couple of weeks he's started to get back to himself and playing how Dane can play. So I've named about 25 blokes there, so take your pick.
So for you personally, it's been a tough year. But there's just outside here a beautiful field goal kick against Parramatta. Is that the highlight year for you?
This year? Yeah, obviously. Like, I mean, it was my 50th NRL game. We hadn't won a game. I made some pretty strong comments during the week that we're going to win. Para were flying, and we come out here. We probably should have won by more, to be honest. But I'll keep that memory forever. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it. You know, I've kicked some field goals in my time in both countries actually, and to win the game, but there's been like 10 minutes left and things like that. So to clutch that on the bell was pretty cool. The game against Brisbane was mad as well. Like just we had no right to go up there and do what we did, and we did that. The Cowboys game that we won, that was another one. Yeah, I've had a real good time this year. You know, like considering that we haven't gone so well. The games that we've won, I know there've been only a few of them, but we've played some good footy, man. And to be a part of that's been pretty good.
Now, I do have to get this question. I know you probably haven't given me a great answer for it, But I think if I don't at least ask you, I think everybody here is going to not let me out of the room at the end of this. You're off contract at the end of next year. How is that progressing now? Is there something positive hopefully coming?
Yeah, I hope so. Like, I mean, I don't really want to leave and keep trying to start again. So, from my own personal perspective, if the club had come to myself and my manager with something that we all think is fair, 100%. You know, I personally haven't spoken to anyone about next year. Obviously, they've left me alone with my rehab, but I think there have been some talks with my management. So, hopefully, that can keep going. Like, there's a lot of people off contract though. So, I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of moving parts between now and the pre-season. I'm sure there'll be a lot of new faces in around the joint and new coach, new regime, and the new way they want to play. Hopefully, I'll fit into that and we can get something sorted. But as I said at the start, it sometimes it's taken out of the players' hands, and if the club and coach don't want you, then you no chance. So hopefully, Benji and Tim like me a little bit, and I can stay on board.
Well, I think if they have the same opinion that everyone has in here, I think we're crucial to us moving forward. I think we can't rebuild this club without your opinion. I think what you've added to this club on the field and off the field has been amazing. And I really think that you have an opportunity for a legacy next club. This is a club that hasn't been involved with football for 11 years. And I really think you're a key piece to us finally getting back to those club deserves to be.
Oh yeah, no, it means a lot here and that. Obviously, as I said, like the full transformation between if we were sitting here 5 years ago, what we could be saying about me to now is pretty amazing. It's a testament to like what hard work can do and what putting your mind to something can do. So, I mean, as I said, like I've got no plans in the back of my mind to get up and leave. Hopefully, the club's on the same wavelength as myself, and we can get something sorted out. And I want to be part of hopefully, you know, doing what we said for the club, and if that can get sorted soon, the better for me. You know, a bit of job security as well. I know you don't want to do this too many times, so I might have to start begging Tim for a contract.
We're going to finish it up, but I do have to say thank you for your time today. I'll admit it, I was one of the ones that doubted your assignment on the assignment to come back across. But you've convinced me with you for your efforts on the field, the way you interact with fans off the field. You're a credit to this club, you're a credit to your family, and thank you for your time this afternoon.
That's the biggest couple I've ever got, so thanks for that. But I appreciate it. Obviously, as I said, you're one of many people that were sceptical. I was probably sceptical in my own mind, how people were going to, take me in and accept me for who I am. I'm a bit of a different character. So for someone that's so loud, I'm pretty introverted away from footy. Like I like to do a lot of things on my own and just cruise around and stay out of everyone's business. But when it comes to work and doing my job, I'm very passionate about it and very enthusiastic too. So I'm just proud that everyone could see my efforts on the field this year. I'd love to be out there battling away and still playing to the final whistle. And I was praying I could play that last game at Leichhardt. Special place, man, like to play there. And you hear about it all the time, but actually running out there and playing there is so cool. And I'm so jealous that I don't get to do that at the end of the year. But just thank you everyone for coming. And I was just going to say, if anyone wanted to ask a question or something, I'm happy to sit here and answer a few questions before I go back. So if not, no worries.
We had an appeal during after round 2, which you lost. What was the reason behind that? And how do you look back on that? Is that a great idea?
No, that was not my idea to appeal that. I think, I don't know, it was taken out of my hands essentially. They asked me if I wanted to appeal it. I sat on the fence for ages, and then about an hour later they brought my suit up from Wollongong to go to judiciary, and we fought a battle that we were never going to win essentially. So looking back on it, I wish we didn't appeal it, no. But yeah, it was just one of them. I did want to play as well, and when we were actually in there, we had a pretty good case, to be honest, compared to other cases that had been suspended for longer periods of time. But we lost, which is unfortunate.
Thanks very much, Jack, for your efforts this year. For on behalf of everybody here, we really appreciate it. And all the boys, to be honest, it's been a tough year for everyone. But I just want to let you know, I think I speak on behalf of everyone again, that if you manage to come here and take this team, or be part of this team that gets to the grand final, is the best thing you ever do in the league, in your career. These fans will make sure, because when you're waiting quite a while, it's a tough times, but we're right behind you guys, we love you all, there's nothing better than seeing you guys happy. That's what makes us happy, mate.
Yeah.
And we just want you to be here and take off this group, get to the ball, and we're going to play. We're going to be there all the way.
Anyone else have a question? Okay, go on.
When we kick the field goal, how was it? When we kick the field goal for the game?
How did I feel? I felt like trying to do something that you could relate to. You know when you wake up on Christmas Day and you've been begging for that really expensive present and Santa brings it and you open it and you're like, yes. That's how I felt. Is that good?
Any more questions? Okay, well, we'll wrap it up there. Jackson, I just want to say one thing, or two things. Firstly, thank you so much for your time today. Secondly, you mentioned at the very early that you're still not quite the man you want to be. Can I just say, watching you out in the field and listening to you over this last half hour, mate, you will become that man and far exceed that as you keep growing your life.
I know I said at the start, but once again, thank you for everyone taking the time out to come listen to me talk. I know I can carry on and dribble a little bit, so I appreciate you guys taking the time out and get behind the lads today. I know you do anyway. I can see obviously all the Tigers jerseys here, but I think you guys can get us home today, so let's be loud and let's get off the bottom of the ladder, eh? So thank you very much.
Okay, guys.